Good morning, everyone. Actually, it's afternoon where I am, almost. So I just wanted to come on here and wish you a happy Monday and a great start to your week, and to do a little recap about this morning's Monday mantra call that we had. Such a beautiful call. We talked about fear today, and I think just in the state of the world and how people are feeling, it was a really, important conversation, and we were able to talk about some pretty deep things that people are feeling right now around fear. So I started the call by really just expressing a little bit of my own fear that happened last week. I had an incident. It was not an incident. It was a work task that I was given, and I really got into fear that felt incredibly overwhelming, and it halted me from being able to go forward. So I wanted to share what happened so that for all of you who are also dealing with fear, maybe some of the things that I did will help you. So I will start with the mantra. Today's mantra is this week, I'm just looking at my notes. I have what it takes to conquer my fears. I have what it takes to conquer my fears. And so I want to just start by saying, because of the practices that I have put in place over the last decade, I was able to call on so many tools to help me move out of this. And so I'm going to share with you some of the tools that I used in the 24 hours after this task was assigned to me, so that I could actually do it and also feel success for myself and for the situation. So fear is really this idea. It's a feeling, obviously a very intense one that we all know, that is started with us when we were in our early human years, when we actually were in danger, right? A lot of the time, and we needed to have a heightened sense of fear in order to protect ourselves, in order to actually have physical safety, not be in peril. And over time, over evolutionary time, humans have hung on to that for emotional things. So now, often we feel that same fight, flight, or freeze feeling that was originally to keep for our survival. Now we internalize that and we use it from a place that's unhelpful around emotional feelings, especially when we feel like we might be what it's possible that we can fail at something. And so we bring that in, and it feels protective, but of course it halts us from having the life we want and deserve. So I actually did 10 things, 10 self-loving practices, and I'll share a few of them with you. And then tomorrow in our post, you can see all 10 of them. So the first one I will say is I reminded myself that it was okay for fear to be present in my life. So this is really so important, right? This idea that it is okay for fear to exist, right? What we have to make sure is that it's not taking over, right? And so Elizabeth Gilbert, the writer, has written this wonderful piece. It was like a short piece that she wrote on fear, which I've always kept close to me because I think it's so important, is that fear is always going to come along for the ride. So imagine you're driving your car, fear's in the passenger seat, right? And you have two jobs. The first one is to never give fear the map, so it's not deciding where you're going, and you never let it drive, right? It's never getting the steering wheel because you're in charge, right? So fear is welcome to come along because it's going to be there, but it's not going to take over, right? So that once I acknowledged my fear, it stopped me from being so critical, right? And being so mean to myself, which is what I was doing, and turned self-criticism into self-compassion. So that's really that awareness piece, that noticing, oh yeah, I'm feeling afraid, allowed me to be kind to myself. Oh, I'm afraid. So let's take care a little bit more because it doesn't feel good to be afraid. And so that's the first thing. Second, I took a break from my fear. So I was in this thing. I was in it. You know how that gets. You start ruminating about your thoughts, and you also start doing the same actions over and over and over and over, hoping that you get a different result. And that never happens. And so I actually stopped. I just stopped what I was doing, and I decided to rest. I rested for actually that afternoon into the evening and until the morning. So I had that luxury of being able to rest for a long time and really take a break from what I was trying to get accomplished and what wasn't getting done. So I kept banging my head up against this thing, and instead I actually just moved away from the wall so my head stopped banging. And that break broke that unconscious reel that was going on in my actions and in my thoughts. It interrupted, right? Interrupted the let's keep doing the same thing over and over and just expecting it to work out. So that was really helpful. The third thing I did is I let the secret out. So I told really trusted people in my life what was going on, because shame and fear go hand in hand, right? And so when we feel afraid that we could fail at something or that we can't do it, fear is there, but so is shame. And so to get rid of that, I told two people what was going on, how I was feeling, and they were so supportive and wonderful and really helped me to be in validation for what I felt instead of feeling like it was wrong to be afraid. The fourth thing I did, or one of the next things I did, was I asked some problem-solving questions. Once I decided to come back to the task, I love some of these probing questions. So while you're in your own fear, maybe you ask some of these questions. What do I need? What feels comfortable? What feels uncomfortable? Who or what might help me in this moment? How can I see this differently? Do I have to do this? What can I let go of? What natural gifts do I have that I can tap into? Is there something I've done before that is similar to this situation? So I allow myself to be curious and in wonder instead of in the tightness of feeling like I can't, that this is too hard, that I don't know what to do next, right? And instead I started asking some open-ended questions that invited possibility instead of solutions, instead of being in this place where it was just like always fighting against the same thing. And I'll share one more. So I will say that in the end, I harnessed confidence and did the thing, right? So sometimes we have to do things that feel really uncomfortable, right? This is part of our human experience. It's part of us stretching ourselves to grow, right? Because if we stay in the comfort of our lives all the time, real familiarity. And familiarity leads to familiar results. So if you want something different than where you are, you're going to have to stretch, and fear might show up in that, right? So confidence is a practice, right? That self-confidence is like exercise, right? When we exercise our muscles, we stretch them, we make them stronger, and things become easier as we do more exercise. So that's the same with confidence. Trying little things and then making them bigger and bigger allows us then to be more confident, to show up feeling like regardless of whether the thing works out or not, we're going to be okay. So here's a few of the things that I shared this morning in our Monday Mantra call. I invite you to join us on Monday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern for this call each week. It's a beautiful community of people, and you're going to get great daily practices that you can put in place to really elevate your own self-love and that leads to living the life that you want and deserve. I hope to see you soon. Take good care of yourselves. Have a really good week, and we'll talk again soon. Bye-bye.